Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a must-have eye brushes for beginners, or really just anybody in general. So if you would like to learn what brushes are must-haves for eye looks, then please stick around. So I was inspired actually by one of you guys to do this series for beginners. And I'm actually starting off by doing eye brushes just because in order to create a really pretty blended eye look, then you must own eye brushes. I'm going to go ahead and get started with eye shader brushes. Those are probably the one you need at least a good eye shader brush. Now, eye shader brushes are brushes that you use to apply a lid color. You can apply a brow bone highlight, an inner corner highlight, and you can get, there's different varieties. They have flat shader brushes, which I'll talk about in a minute, and then you have like more dense, fluffier eye shader brushes. And the one that I like a lot is from Sigma, and this is the Eye Shading E55 brush. As you can see, this is a much shorter brush, but it's densely packed, so you can pick up color and put it on your lid nicely. This is one of my favorites. It doesn't shed at all, but if you want a good drugstore brand, then I recommend the Real Techniques brushes. These you can purchase at, I think, CVS or Walgreens, and then of course you can purchase them at Ulta. This is the, what is this called? This is the base eyeshadow brush. Now the thing about some brush companies is they name their brushes different things, so it makes it a little bit harder. Just kind of look for the style of the brush, the shape of it, and then you'll kind of figure out and find out how you can use it. But this is a much more fluffier brush than the Sigma E55 one. As you can see, it's a lot more fluffier, but it does the same thing. This works well. I like to use this a lot. It picks up quite a bit of product, so I really like this as well. So I have a different eye shader brush from Diva Beauty, and it's about the same size as the Sigma one. It's not as dense. It's like more tightly packed in, but it does the same thing. This is great if you're doing like a really dark smoky eye and you want to be super precise. This is perfect for that. But definitely, you know, start off with a really good eye shader brush. And if you don't want to be washing your brushes, you know, because they're supposed to be washed once a week. I don't wash my brushes that often, I'm going to be honest, but that's how they should be washed, how often they should be washed. But if you don't want to be washing your brushes so often, then I recommend you picking up at least 2 of them so that you can use one for black shadow, you know, darker eyeshadows, and some more for like lighter colors. So that's my first recommendation, is getting yourself a really good eye shader brush. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, that there's different eye shader brushes. They have the dense ones, and then they have the flat shader brushes. These are more, these are better for like glitters, shimmery colors, metallics, even pigments, like loose pigments, loose glitters. You can easily wet your brush with some eye drops or like Fix Plus, whatever, and then dip your brush in the color, and it'll just make it so much easier, and you'll have less fallout. But the ones that I'm holding up here, these are just 2 of the ones that I own. All my other brushes are super dirty. I mean, these are dirty too, but this one is an e.l.f. brush, super inexpensive, and this is actually a concealer brush. That's what it's marketed as, and it says on here e.l.f. concealer brush. But this is the perfect size to get into your lids. Like, this is the perfect size to pick up a metallic shade and pop it onto your lid. So I really like using that for this, or using this for that. So, you know, like I said, they're just named differently, and this is just too small to use as a concealer brush. This is definitely better for your eye makeup. And then another brush I have is from Altair Beauty, and these actually don't have names to them, or if they do, I don't know them all, I'm sorry, but this one is perfect. As you can see, it's also small and very precise, and these are just very flat. They're not as dense as the other eye shader brushes, but these are perfect for glitters, metallics, pigments, like I said, to pop onto your lid. Okay, moving on to a different style of brush. Now, in order to get a really pretty transition color, and I will talk more about how to apply eyeshadow for beginners in a different video, but I'm just talking about brushes now. You need a really good, fluffy, dense blending brush. Now, I have a couple to share with you guys. Now, this one is from Altair Beauty, and this is a 205 tapered blending brush. This is probably one of the smaller blending brushes that I own, but this is great like if you have smaller eyes. This is perfect for that because it doesn't get like the color won't get everywhere. But you see how, you know, how fluffy it is. This is able to get into your crease and a little bit above your crease to just kind of use it to apply a transition color. And the next one I have is from Mirabella, and this is just a blending brush. Look at that. I mean, this is probably one of my favorite brushes. I love this. I used it today to apply my transition color, and it's just so soft and fluffy, and it just applies that color on. I mean, it just basically does the work for you. You just, you know, just sit there and blend, and it just blends it so beautifully. Now, if you're going to go out and buy a really good blending brush, then I suggest you just go ahead and splurge a little bit on a really good blending brush. These are the brushes to me that I feel like bring the whole look together. Now, you begin with one of these brushes and you also end with a really good blending brush. You can begin and end with the same one because you apply your transition, and then at the very end of the whole look you go back and blend everything together. So I really highly recommend this Sigma E40. I'll put a link for it down below so you guys can access that pretty easily, but you can only purchase these online. That's the only downside to these, is they are sold separately, and they're also sold in a kit. I love this. I mean, this is perfection. This is the best eye blending brush ever. Okay, so another brush that I think you must own in your collection is a good crease brush. Now, these brushes I use to go in and apply a crease color, and like I said, I'm going to do a whole, you know, video on eyeshadow for beginners, but these are really good and they're super inexpensive. I think this one's $1 and this one's $3. They're both from e.l.f. and this is marketed as a professional blending eye brush, but it's way too small, as you can see, compared to the Sigma E40. It's just way too small to be considered a blending brush. So this works much better as a crease brush to apply a crease color, and they go back in with something like the Luxie blender, eye blender, and blend it out. This is just so that you apply a crease color more precisely. And then the other one is called the e.l.f. contour brush. I'm not sure why they, you know, labeled it a contour brush. I'm not sure if they meant like contouring your nose, or I'm not sure, but essentially you are contouring your eye and creating more definition. So this is, you know, I guess a contour brush, but these two are definitely must-haves. These are not used on an everyday basis, but there's something that if you want to create, you know, a really bold eye look, then I definitely think you need at least one of these in your collection. Now, another type of brush that I think you must own in your collection as well are angled brushes. As you can see, this is an angled brush, and so is this one, and these both are very inexpensive. This is an e.l.f. brush and this is an Eco Tools brush. Both can be found in the drugstore. This one is a little bit bigger, fluffier, and I like to use this to apply a brow bone highlight or to apply highlight to the inner corners of my eyes. And this one, since it's much smaller, you can actually use this to apply an outer corner color. So that's what I use this for, and this I use for, you know, you could also use this to apply outer corner color, but I prefer to use this as an inner. I mean, you can use these brushes however you want, but all in all, I feel like these brushes, in my opinion, are must-owns in your collection to get started on a good eye brush collection. So these two are must-haves for sure. Okay, two type of eye brushes that I think are essential for using when working on your lower lash line are either an angled brush or just a flat liner brush. These are great when you're, you know, tight lining kind of like your lower lash line to kind of create like a more defined lash line, and then going in with a good blending smudge pencil brush. None of these have names, so I'm like, you know, kind of tongue-tied, but these are great. You know, after you've applied that lash line color, you can go in with a different color and just blend it out and create a more smokier look. So these are perfect for that. And now the these brushes that I was talking about, the angled and the flat liner brushes, this one is from Real Techniques. This one is really good. I like it. And this one is from e.l.f. This one is super inexpensive. I think this is $1. And this is just called the Professional Eyeliner Brush. And this works great because it's not like super stiff. It's just great to where you can still kind of get in there, and if you mess up, you can still, you know, kind of work around it or work with it. And then these, I'm not sure what brand this is because this has rubbed off, and this is my favorite pencil brush. I really wish I knew what brand this was from because it is my absolute favorite. But a second close to my second favorite is from Eagle Tools, and this is super inexpensive as well. I actually bought this in a set. I'll try to find the actual set down below, but this is called a smudge brush. This is perfect for, you know, the lower lash line. So that's it, you guys. Those are my, in my opinion, my must-have eye brushes to add to your collection or to begin your eye brush collection. I know not a lot of people own good eye brushes, and you don't necessarily have to go out and splurge on a really well-known brush brand. You can buy things from the drugstore, but like I said, the one eye brush that I think you should splurge on is this Sigma E40. That brush just is amazing. It does amazing things, and it's definitely a must-have in anybody's collection. So that's it, you guys. If I forgot anything, I will make sure to put it in the down bar, so always check down in the description bar. I always link everything down below. I put direct links to websites where you can purchase these. There's so much information down there from what is on my lips, and just so many other good things are down there, so make sure you always check down there. And if it's not down there, make sure you ask me in the comments, and I'll be sure to reply. If you have any questions, make sure to ask me. You can ask me on my Facebook page. I'll make sure to kind of put it up here so you can see what my Facebook page is, my Instagram, on Twitter, anywhere. You can find me anywhere. You can even email me, message me on Facebook, whatever. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like I said, I keep an eye out for a how to apply eyeshadow for beginners, as well as a few other videos coming up that are going to be for beginners in my new series. So if you have any suggestions or any requests, make sure you leave those down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!